Ava never imagined that what should have been a simple family dinner would turn into a heartbreaking confrontation with the truth. As she sat at the table, surrounded by her husband Ethan's family, her world began to fracture with every glance, every whisper, and every forced smile from her mother-in-law, Eleanor. Time and again, Ava had brushed aside the unease, swallowing her hurt, convincing herself to be strong. But when the sickness after every meal became more than just coincidence, and Eleanor's favoritism toward another woman became glaringly obvious, Ava felt a surge of determination. She remembered her vow on her wedding day, to never let anything come between her and Ethan's love. But as the tension in the family reached its breaking point, Ava realized that her silent suffering could no longer continue. What was really happening behind the scenes of her marriage? How would Ava's courage lead her to uncover the shocking truth that would change everything? Chapter 1. Cracks beneath the surface. Ava adjusted the delicate gold necklace around her neck, its cool touch a stark contrast to the warmth of anxiety bubbling in her chest. She took a deep breath, trying to calm her nerves. "It's just another family dinner," she whispered to herself. But deep down, she knew it was never just a dinner at the Hawthorne estate. "You ready, babe?" Ethan's voice called from downstairs. "Coming," Ava replied, giving herself one last glance in the mirror. Her cocoa-toned skin glowed, and her dark curls framed her face perfectly. She looked beautiful, but would it ever be enough for Eleanor? As she descended the staircase, Ethan's face lit up. "You look stunning," he said, planting a soft kiss on her cheek. His warm hazel eyes sparkled with genuine adoration, making Ava's heart flutter. "Thanks, honey," she smiled, pushing away the gnawing doubts. "Let's go before we're late. You know how your mom is about punctuality." The drive to the Hawthorne mansion was short, but for Ava, it felt eternal. The grand house loomed in front of them, its pristine white facade almost intimidating. She had been married to Ethan for 6 months, yet stepping into this house still felt like entering enemy territory. Ethan, oblivious to her discomfort, practically bounced out of the car. "I can't wait to see what Mom's cooked up tonight. Her pot roast is legendary." Ava forced a smile and followed him up the manicured pathway. Before Ethan could even ring the doorbell, the door swung open. "Ethan, darling." Eleanor Hawthorne beamed, wrapping her son in a tight hug. Her icy blue eyes flicked to Ava for a mere second before returning to Ethan. Come in. Dinner's almost ready." As they stepped inside, Ava couldn't help but marvel at the home's opulence. Crystal chandeliers, antique furniture, and priceless art adorned every room, a stark contrast to the modest apartment she grew up in. "Ava, dear," Eleanor's voice cooed with practiced sweetness. "Lovely to see you again. Feeling better? You seemed off at our last dinner." Ava offered a polite smile. "I'm fine, thank you. Probably just a little stomach bug." Eleanor's eyes narrowed ever so slightly. "Well, let's hope that doesn't happen again. I've made a special dish just for you tonight." Before Ava could respond, a melodic voice floated from the living room. "Eleanor, do you need help in the kitchen?" Sophie appeared in the doorway, her blonde waves cascading effortlessly over her shoulders. She was the picture of grace and elegance, everything Eleanor wanted in a daughter-in-law. "Sophie, sweetheart." Eleanor's face lit up. "No need, but why don't you keep Ethan company while Ava and I finish up?" "Great idea, Mom." Ethan grinned. "Sophie, did I tell you about the new project I landed at work?" Ava's heart sank as she followed Eleanor into the vast kitchen. The moment they were alone, Eleanor's friendly mask slipped. "Listen here," Eleanor hissed. "I don't know what game you're playing, but it won't work. Ethan deserves better than some girl from the wrong side of town." Ava's heart raced, but she stood tall. "I love Ethan. I'm not playing any games." Eleanor scoffed. "Love? Please. What could you possibly offer him that Sophie can't? Now, make yourself useful and set the table." As Ava arranged the fine china and polished silverware, her mind whirled. She had always known Eleanor disapproved of her, but this level of contempt was chilling. Chapter 2. A Tainted Dinner. The dinner table was a masterpiece. Eleanor's pride shining through every detail. But Ava's appetite had vanished. "This looks incredible, Mom," Ethan praised, his fork already diving into the pot roast. "Ava, you gotta try this." Ava forced a smile as Eleanor served her a generous portion. But with the first bite, something felt off. The flavor was strange, different from what the others were eating. Her stomach churned. The nausea returned with alarming speed, forcing her to excuse herself. She barely made it to the bathroom before vomiting violently. Leaning against the cold porcelain sink, Ava's mind raced. This wasn't the first time she'd fallen ill after dining here. Could it really be intentional? A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. "Ava, can I come in?" It was Ethan. She unlocked the door, and he rushed to her side, his face etched with concern. "Are you okay?" Ava hesitated. How could she voice her suspicions? "Just the same stomach bug, I guess," she lied. But as she returned to the dining room, she caught a glimpse of Eleanor and Sophie whispering in the corner, smug smiles on their faces. Ava made a vow to herself then and there. She would uncover the truth. Chapter 3. The Breaking Point. 2 weeks later, Ava stood outside the Hawthorne mansion once more. This time, she was prepared. Jasmine, her best friend, had been blunt when Ava confided in her. "Girl, that woman is poisoning you." "You think?" Ava had whispered. "Absolutely. But you need proof." So tonight, Ava came armed with a plan. As the family sat down to dinner, Eleanor proudly served lasagna, Ava's plate once again looking slightly different. She smiled sweetly and swapped it with Ethan's when no one was looking. Minutes into the meal, Ethan paled. I don't feel so good." Ava's heart pounded. "Ethan, are you okay?" He clutched his stomach, groaning. Something's not right. Eleanor's face drained of color. Ava stood, her voice shaking with emotion. "That's the same plate you gave me, Eleanor. The same food that's been making me sick for months." The room fell into stunned silence. Sophie gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Ethan's confusion turned to horror. "Mom, is this true?" Eleanor crumbled. I just wanted what's best for you." "Sophie is..." "Enough," Ethan roared. "You've been poisoning my wife?" Sophie blurted out. "We just wanted to show you that Ava wasn't right for you." The betrayal hit Ethan like a truck. He grabbed Ava's hand. "We're done here." As they left, Ava glanced back at Eleanor. Alone, broken, her manipulations laid bare. Epilogue. Healing and moving forward. The fallout was intense. Ethan grappled with guilt for not seeing the signs sooner. Ava battled conflicting emotions, anger, relief, and sorrow for the pain Ethan now carried. But they worked through it together. Eleanor sought therapy, genuinely remorseful. Over time, she attempted to mend her relationship with her son and Ava. It wasn't easy. Trust once broken is hard to rebuild, but it wasn't impossible. A year later, Ava sat beside Ethan at a family gathering. The tension was gone. Eleanor had changed. Not completely, but enough. "You really stuck by me," Ethan whispered. Ava smiled. "That's what love is, Ethan. We fight for it." And in that moment, Ava knew they were stronger now, having faced the storm and survived.